up, my little tattletales? How are you doing today? What's up, Sussex Squad? Listen, as you know, Harry and Meghan have dropped on Netflix, and the royal family is doing what they do best, making a damn fool of themselves. Y'all, what am I talking about? The palace came out, and listen, they moved beyond never complain, never explain, which when you think about it, Queen Elizabeth, I used to side-eye her to that, being like, why wouldn't you explain? Until I realized the reason why her motto was never complain, never explain, is because they're idiots. They're dumb. They mess up things half the time. It's better. You know, the royal family is, what's that old adage? Better to stay quiet and be thought of as a fool than to open your mouth and remove no doubt. Baby, the palace's mouth is wide open. Harry and Meghan's Netflix dropped. The palace engaged in outright lies, which to me is like, do you not know the internet exists? Do you not know we can verify this stuff? What is wrong with these people? We're going to get into the Netflix documentary. I've only watched one episode. We're going to get into the Netflix documentary. We're going to talk about Kensington Palace and their house of lies. And we're also going to address, William's going to bring down the monarchy. I have never seen somebody so mediocre pushed up. I don't know what century they're living in, but it's definitely not this one. First, let's talk about the lies, to quote Candy Burris. So, Omid Scooby, the Rangers hit him hard for some reason. They always hit him hard. Okay, so listen, first of all, Sussex Squad, let's get things out on the table. Parts 1, 2, and 3, I haven't watched them. I've only watched the first one. They seem to be pretty tame. They are a love story unfolding. It tells how Harry was late for the first date, right? I've heard that Harry actually addresses his, I don't want to say to get demonetized, but the way he was doing all that stuff, that Halloween costume heard around the world. You know, the one thing that I think the royal family misses is Harry grew up in that deeply racist institution. Of course, Harry had unconscious and conscious bias. Harry was raised in a place where it was okay to be xenophobic, say hateful things, call your best friend who is of Pakistani descent a slur, right? Well, not his best friend, but you get what I'm saying. Say that out loud. He was raised by these degenerates. For God's sakes, a woman in the palace came and threw a woman's hair to the side and then said, tell me where you're from. And then basically held her captive for 10 minutes because she was trying to let that girl know that she was below her and had no place in the palace. But here's the thing that the royals keep missing. They keep missing it because at the end of the day, they don't want to do this. And that is this. We all grew up in a deeply racist society. Even myself as a Black woman, there is a barrage of things when you're growing up that people tell you who you are, who you should be, who you are, who you will be, who you will never be, right? You get hit with the misinformation and that brainwashing over and over and over. It takes a lot of strength and a lot of clear focus and support and love and people to pull you through that storm. And as you know, being Black or being any minority, the storm is always going. For Harry to be a white male, cisgendered white male, born in a heap of privilege at the top of a hierarchy meant to establish themselves as top and everyone on the bottom, we would be silly and remiss not to say that Harry was probably an a-hole. I'll get to the point. Probably an a-hole like the rest of his relatives. Not as bad. He was more sufferable, but I have no doubt that he definitely had his a-hole tendencies. I have no doubt that when Meghan met him, she was like, I really like him, but oof, there's some work to do. He, as much as the British people, and by British people, I mean royalists, right? As much as the royalists don't want to admit, Harry was the fixer-upper. Harry was the one that Meghan had to be like, oof, I hope this is worth it. Not only did Harry have to be open up to the world, but she had to deal with his dumb family on top of that. So it is nice that Harry acknowledges, and that's one of the reasons people give Harry so many props. You're not sitting there like the royalists and the UK media being like, it doesn't exist, it doesn't exist, which to me is another form of oppression, because I will always say the reason why it's so hard for anybody in the UK media or the royalists to admit that racism exists is because it's another form of dehumanizing, isn't it? I mean, let's think about it. Let's actually think about it. Colonialization, we're literally looking at people, their land, their culture as they were nothing. Nothing matters except for the people in power. So they can come and pillage your lands and are your women and enslave your children. And you just have to get on with it, right? What are you going to do? For God's sakes, they are still walking around with diamonds in their tiaras, with the blood washed off of diamonds in their tiaras, with pride still. These barbarians. I'm being serious. So you can't admit there's racism, because to admit that there's racism would be to acknowledge that somebody else is on your level. You know, if you bump into someone, you have to say, excuse me. And you have to acknowledge the fact that you encroached on their personal space, and you might have caused them harm. And you have to listen to them, be like, well, ow, that hurt. Or, okay, no problem. But you have to actually be held accountable. The British public, and by public, I mean the royalists and all this stuff, they somehow believe that if they don't acknowledge racism, they'll never have to atone for treating other people as their equal. But as we see, that policy in a modern world cannot work. Things are changing. Tides are changing. You risk literally becoming a relic. Like even the dinosaurs that were so mighty that once roamed the earth are now fossils that we build our buildings on. You must evolve to grow. You must change and evolve and grow. The fact that they have decided in a whole world that is moving forward, okay, maybe not by leaps and bounds, but by baby steps. The fact that they have decided in a world that is moving forward that they will put their flag posts down and refuse to move forward because they will not be moved. They are the ones in charge. They are the ones with power, and everybody else is going to have to get used to it. Well, I'll say this. We already saw what happened in Brexit when they tried to draw a line in the sand and they got swallowed up by the sand. And now they're doing the same thing when it comes to racial relations, hierarchy, and when we are where we all stand. They decided to fight the good fight. But you can never fight the good fight when you're literally trying to propagate and when you're trying to propagate evil and make sure that the evil that you were allowed to do and unleash on people for centuries is no longer, it's not, you no longer can do it. And even in polite society, it is no longer acceptable. They are dying dinosaurs. And Harry met Meghan and she opened his eyes to it. Now, again, we can argue, yes, Harry's a grown man. He wasn't a little child. He should have known this before. He should have. He should have had compassion, empathy. He should have. But even the way he will acknowledge, I did not. And now I'm going to do what I can to make things right. Listen, the mark of any great person or any person, and when I say great, I don't mean worthy of riches and esteem and all. No, when I say a great person, I mean someone who's literally tries to make the world a better place, someone that has a good heart. You don't have to be rich or famous to be great. The mark of any great person. And like my dad always says, it's not the mistakes you make. It's not the things you get yourself into. It's not the things that you did. It's how quick you remove yourself from those things. It's how quick you decide to remedy the mistakes you've made. It's not everybody's going to make mistakes. I mean, not on the royal family. I don't think I've ever been accused of being racism. That's a big mistake, and I don't mean to downplay it, but the mark of a great person is not what things you do that reflect badly on your soul. The mark of a great person is how quickly you remedy the damage that you have done, the harm that you have done, and how quickly you try to move out of it. Harry, we will admire. When he knew better, he did better, okay? So kudos to them. But let's get back to the trash ass royal family. Sorry for cursing, but let's get back to them, right? Because they've decided to fight the good fight, and the wave, a new world that's coming in, they decided they're going to stand against it. It didn't work with Brexit. it's not going to work now. But let's get into the way they think that they're finally going to take over. Okay. They just resorted to flat out lying, which is a weird thing, just misinformation, because I guess they feel that they can't win in America and they can't win overseas. So the only thing they can do is flat out lie to the people of the UK and hope nobody notices. Let's not forget that woman that was disrespected in the palace, Nagazi. One, she's being ripped apart all over, right? Because now she's the racist, because she has a charity that helps Caribbean women. Now she's the racist, of course. But, and I really would like Harry and Meghan to speak out about that. But let me get to my point, shall we? They're just flat out lying. They said with Ngozi, oh, you know what? We contacted her, we invited her to the palace, it's all good. They didn't even think that woman who was disrespected was worth even actually reaching out to. They really thought that they had so much power that they would talk about this woman, right? Say, oh no, we talked about her, it's all good. She's cool with the racism. And thought the woman would be so either awestruck or intimidated or fearful of their power that she would stay quiet and just take that disrespect. You know, they never even reached out to her. They lied about reaching out to her. They never reached out to her. And then when she said, nobody ever reached out to me, what are you talking about? I would love to come talk at the palace. They didn't even say anything else to her. And people ripped her apart on Twitter saying, and all the other social media is talking about, what is the big deal? I think you're racist for talking about race, and all of the gaslighting. I will say this, my people, and by white people, I mean Black people in America, we've gone through this, but we went through it like 60, 70 years ago. You got to push past the gaslighting to really get what it is. And there are going to be people that have to fall on their sword. But if people rally around them and you shine a light, eventually, yeah, they can't do it anymore. But let's get into the next lie they did. Ooh. Now, Netflix says members of the royal family declined to comment on the content within this series. That was in the Netflix thing, right? A royal source says that neither Buckingham Palace nor Kensington Palace nor any member of the royal family were approached for comment on the content of this series. This is what actually makes me think the royal family is absolutely out of their minds. They literally took the playbook that they did with Miss Ngozi and they reversed it, only now they're the victims. Remember how they came out and said, you know, we contacted her? And then Ngozi came out and said, you guys did not contact me at all. That's a lie. Netflix put themselves, like they literally reversed it. Almost like the way Kate made Meghan cry being horribly rude, and they reversed it to be like Meghan was the one doing it. It's actually very sick and sinister what they do. It makes me think that they're absolutely crazy, but it also makes me think that they're cruel sadists, because a lot of this is like them looking stupid to the public, but I don't really think that they look stupid to the public, care about looking stupid to the public. I think that they look down on the British people. They think they're big dum-dums and peasants meant to kiss their rings and applaud when they walk by. I really honestly do. But I honestly begin to think they're a bunch of psychopaths that just get off on psychologically torturing people. I think half of the dumb lies and excuses they give aren't really for the public. It's just to mess with the mind of the person that they feel like torturing. An odd lot. So anyway, update. A source says Kensington Palace did receive a comment request. I guess they forgot there's email and there's always a trail. Welcome to 20th century, guys. But they said, but from a third-party production company via a different and unknown organization's email address. You mean to tell me that Netflix, when they need an official comment, didn't contact your press, didn't send a million emails, and they literally put an unknown organization's email? So now you're trying to say Netflix that loves Troy and the royal family was dodging y'all? Y'all are, they liars, but they're the worst liars because they're dumb. They contacted R12 Productions and Netflix to try and verify, but received no response. But guess what, baby? Netflix said, you want to play? Baby, we love the content. Bring it on. Netflix said, Netflix has entered the chat. A source at the streamer says that household offices private secretaries. They didn't email Kensington Palace or us. They didn't hit in a Twitter DM. Hey, I love the way you keep cosplaying Meghan. Please. Oh, by the way, this is Netflix. They didn't try to hit them on a random Twitter DM or an Insta DM. They literally went to the source. Side note, what are we going to have a talk about the way Meghan's off-the-shoulder look has been completely stolen and co-opted by Kate, but now every time Meghan wears her signature look, they're like, ooh, she's copying Kate. But she was copying Kate, she would be Botox to the gods with a sideways face. You know her Botox is always a little off, right? And now that Kate's wearing her hair swept to the side, it accentuates how much the plastic surgery is lopsided. And she would be sitting there demanding that people airbrush her pictures. Anyway, they said Netflix has entered the chat. A source at the streamer says that household offices for both the Prince and Princess of Wales and King Charles and Camilla, the Queen Consort, were contacted and given sufficient time to respond. Woo! Now, somebody said on Twitter, which I thought was funny, of course the royal family missed the communication. We all know their aides think 5 a.m. emails are a form of bullying. Anyway, isn't it amazing that Meghan did so many things right that they considered a 5 a.m. email that you don't even have to answer until you get to the office as form of bullying? That's all you have on Meghan. Listen. Hold on, where are we at? They're just, listen, they are just lying. There was something else I wanted to show you guys that I thought was particularly funny. One second. So let's just go into what we can expect with Harry and Meghan. There's going to be so many cute things that are in the documentary. I'm going to start watching it today. But you guys, one thing we need to know is this is the calm before the storm. As you saw with the trailer, it was like this fairy tale movie of them feeding each other cake and having fun and kissing each other's noses. And then it swarmed to Kate looking like the good witch Glinda meets the wicked stepmother. You guys, part 3 to 6, I believe it's 2 parts, are going to be off the chain. They are diving into the palace. They are diving into the attacks. They are diving into when things really went bad. And I, for one, am really looking forward to this. You guys, let me know if you've actually seen Harry and Meghan yet. Again, I've only watched 1 episode. It's super cute. But again, you guys, this is going to be a fun weekend, and thank you so much for giving me the content. Listen, waiting for the Royals meltdown. I know they're going to come with more lies, and I can't wait. Anyway, my little Tattertales and Sussex squad, talk to you guys later. Bye.